start off I choose Mac because I'm in a toxic mood, and Income Start because I like money! In the first drop I find a candles and a poison reagent, which I can hopefully turn into something fun later. I choose Pyro as the day 1 fight to hopefully grab the lighter, which I do end up getting, although I would have been happy with any of the other drops as well. I grab some quick-ish small items from Andy, including a heavy reagent, which I can hopefully turn into something fun later. I immediately regret my decision of overbuying at Andy, as the next shop gives me the poison relic, which I have to sell some of my board to be able to grab. The first player fight is against a pig with a fairly strong day 1 board who pummels my face in. And we move on to day 2. Day 2 begins, and in the first shop I find 2 poison items to turn on the relic, as well as a spider mace, which is one of Mac's best items, especially in multiples, and will definitely come in handy later. I choose to fight the covetous thief, and he gives me a decent econ skill as his drop. I find a cane sword from his shop, which I think is just good enough to go on my board. I choose to transform the moth meal for my level up and get a heavy spider mace because foreshadowing. I find a ruby in the last shop of the day, which improves my board significantly, but not enough to beat this Vanessa, as I lose by half a second. And we move on to day 3. I take a free burn on the candles because I don't think the other options are very good. I find an upgrade to the worst item on my board from Mittel, and I get a ticket that I will immediately forget I have from the Dabbling Alchemist. With a B1, B2, and a level upgrade, as well as a shop, I get my idol to gold and my candles to silver. The player fight is against a Mac who I managed to beat despite not yet having my relic online. And we move on to day 4. The day starts off with a poison potion from Quixel, which finally lets me get my idol online. I kill Bloodreef Brawler and get toxic weapons for my level up skill because with the 2 maces in my stash, something like a poppy field would be a good off ramp to this board. I go to the mountain pass and fight a Sabertooth who gives me a pelt. The Mac is trying to do free stuff but ends up doing nothing, and we move on to day 5. I go to the Deadly Duel and fight a Sabertooth who gives me a pelt. I find a Sands of Time in a shop. I go to my monster fight and fight a Sabertooth who gives me yet again another pelt.
But this time it's diamond. Ooh, fancy.
I find the incredibly strong skill Petrifying Gaze from the monster skill merchant, but I die to this Vanessa anyways. And we move on to day 6. I kill a defenseless turtle followed by a defenseless giant green blob monster and get a free skill for my level up reward. I sell my whole board slightly too early to try to pivot, and buy second expedition ticket because of foreshadowing. My board isn't great, but I managed to kill a pig, and we move on to day 7. I find a rapid injection system, which is pretty major. I upgrade Sands of Time with Sterling, get it partially online with the relic shop, and now that my board is significantly better than the previous day, I managed to kill a dually with a 6 skin. And we move on to day 8. I chuck some gold into the Pearl Void, and kill another Jack, who gives me Jack. With my level up enchant after the fight, I get a heavy injection system, which is very strong, but not as strong as it needs to beat Potion Launcher Recycling Bin. Day 9 Temple Time! Boulder Trap is as always an easy W for any board with slow, and I level up acquiring Vital Renewal, one of Mac's best skills. The Green Heart Guardian gives me a Poisonous Fang. For my legendary relic, I get Barb's Black Warden, which is absolutely insane with the rest of my build. I end the day off by drawing with a pig because Warden plus Injector is nutty. And we move on to day 10. I lose to Davey because I don't go off fast enough and he has 8,000 health. But then I find a poppy field from Pull and my board is officially cracked. This pig got roasted, although you probably shouldn't eat it. And we move on to day 11. Day 11 goes by pretty fast, as I get a useless skill from Property Baron, upgrade my poppy field, get a quick sneak peek at some Stell items, and absolutely annihilated Vanessa. And we move on to day 12. I find a third Spider Mace from Pearl, which I unfortunately don't yet have room for on my board, but I could play later if I find a way to cut something else. I manage to kill this Arkin before he even has time to proc the half health ability of his Eclipse, and I get a Knife Tricks in the level up. I have a very close fight with the looping Vanessa, but unfortunately for them, Petrifying Gaze is able to disrupt just long enough for me to get the kill. And we move on to day 13. Barcoon gives me Infused Bracers, which is very good here. It's a similar amount of scaling to the Poppy Field, allows me to put the third mace on my board, and gives me Sustain, which was something my board was sorely lacking. After beating a Void Golem, I ended off the day with a random Obsidian enchant, which lets me improve my scaling and sustain all in one. I managed to beat a Vanessa before their Diamond Atomic Clock does too much damage, and we move on to day 14. My level 16 item upgrade allows me to get my Infused Bracers to Diamond, which doubles my scaling, and an extra monster fight allows me to get to level 17 by the end of the day, which gives me the Toxic skill for even more scaling. As I leave everybody off with the final fight, I just wanted to thank you for watching. I've never done anything like this before, I've never edited a video before, I know there's certainly ways I think I could have improved this. If you have any ways you think I could have improved this, absolutely let me know. Yeah, I don't know. I had a great time doing this. I would love to do more in the future if people like them. Have a good day.
A result befitting my centuries of experience.